Hi everyone, welcome to another RPA video. I hope you're all doing well. So today we'll be discussing about dynamic selectors and wildcards in web automation Uipath. So before starting the video, I would like to request please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share the videos with your friends for more learning. So let's start about the today's discussion. So before starting and show you about the dynamic selectors and the wildcards, let's discuss about the agenda. So today's agenda will be wildcard, dynamic selector, and real-time example about this thing. So let me tell you what is wildcard. Wildcards are used in UiPath to replace zero or more characters in a string. The following are supported wildcard characters for selectors in UiPath Studio. Those are asterisk and question mark. So what is asterisk? Asterisk generally replace zero or more characters. So basically, why would we use as wildcard in web automation? Suppose any characters or any string values are there, those would be dynamic in order to do the web automation process. So those web automation string characters we can replace with asterisk or question mark. Asterisk basically we use to replace zero or more characters. In order to use question mark, we will be replacing only single characters using question mark. So these are the wildcards. Basically, two wildcards we can use in wildcard asterisk and question mark. So after wildcards, what is dynamic selector? A dynamic selector uses a variable or an argument as a property for the attribute of your target tag. So if we have a target tag or in string element is the web automation selector, so that web automation selector we can replace with the dynamic selector. Or if it is a dynamic, then we can this replace with that dynamic part of the character with a variable or an argument. This allows the selector to easily identify a target element based on the value of the variable or argument and not the exact string, which might change depending on the interactions inside your automation project. So whatever the interactions we are doing with the web automation selectors and those things, so that we can we can do using simply dynamic selector using that variable or argument value that we will be providing to this. That value will be replacing the static character. So let's discuss about real time about the with the example wildcard and dynamic select. First, we will see the wildcards. So before starting, I would like to show you one web link that is rpachallenge.com. So this link which is very useful to practice about RPA automation, RPA web automation. First, let me show you what is the purpose of using this link. So there you can see couple of fields are there: role in company, address, phone number, company name, email, first name, last name. So these fields we need to enter some values and create a process for web automation. So before starting, I need to show you what is the instructions are there because these are very important. This instruction, if we read, then we can understand. In order to do this process automation, we need wildcard and dynamic selector. So let me read this instruction first. The goal of this challenge is to create a workflow that will input data from a spreadsheet into the form fields on the screen. So here is a download option is there, download Excel. So if we download this Excel, we'll find some columns which is including this data. And we need to use this data and do our automation. The second option is beware, the fields will change position on the screen after every submission throughout 10 rounds. Thus, the workflow must correctly identify where each spreadsheet record must be typed every time. So, what it's saying that every 10 of settings or in every element, it will be change its position. The actual countdown of the challenge will begin once you click on the start button, and until then, you may submit the form as many times as you wish without receiving penalty. So if we see, this is a start button. If I click on the start button, it says rounds are starting, round one. So till then round 10 will be there. If every in every submit we can notice the positions are keep changing. Suppose this is the phone number, address, email, role in the company, first name, company name and last name. If I click on submit, the rounds are changing and see the positions are keep changing. If I click on again submit, you see the positions are in every page. Positions are keep changing with the round name. So if I select a single, suppose uh, one element I am selecting here, last name. So let me go to Uipath. So in order to do this process, suppose in this web page I need to type something on this page. So I need to take which activity? The activity name, typing. If I take type into, what we need first, in the type into we need the selector. In which selector I need to type that element. So let me get help from the UI Explorer. I can show you what you have. So this is UI Explorer. But it will just record that position selector. So this is the selector for that position. I need some different elements. So let me select this. So here we can see this is the title part, which is the part of the full selector. Okay. And this is a partial selector. So in another video we can discuss about full selector and partial selector. There we can describe you what is these two elements and two items and we can use in which type of automations. So here we can see HTML app and the title of that page RPA challenge. Here is the class of that authentication tag IDX and web control info. And here some different selected items are there which we can use in order to do the automation. So if I validate and highlight, this is the last name field on that page. Now if I click on submit, the last name now here. But if I validate it, it will be validated because this selector is correct. But if I highlight, it will be highlighted here in the role in the company. So from here we can understand the selectors are static. It is not dynamic that every time it will represent last year for each and every page. So if I validate now again, I highlight, we will see now it is showing here address. So these fields are keep changing and selectors also static. So every time it is highlighting on a different field. So this for this reason we need a wildcard or a dynamic selector. So let me change this selector into a dynamic using wildcard first. So first we have last name. I will again indicate on this element on this page last name selector. So I took last name and now I took this selector and I will be taking some different items. This is called inner text. This is all inner text. Inner text means whatever the element or the selector we are selecting, we are selecting from that inner text that what will be the inner text of that selector. So that selector inner text is last company name, phone number for this selector. So I would be taking the inner text and I would be changing this CSS selector with the oil cut with an oil cut. So I will be selecting up to this and I will be replacing this part with the oil cut. That is asterisk. Inner text last. So this one I will be validating and I will highlight it. See, last one. Suppose I would go to another page and here I will validate. Again, I will validate and highlight on this page and see last page. Let's try on the different page. You go to submit and go to the different page. Validate and highlight last page. So every time it is going to a different page, but it is highlighting on the last name field on, not on the other page. So now this selector is a dynamic selector. Let us just type into, use the type into, and let's try. Let's see what is happening. So in the selector part, I will be using this selector. Click on validate. Again, check. So last name is showing only. Now click on OK. And I will be writing some text here. So for text, I can give it in a hard code also, or I can use a variable. Let's try with the variable. For variable, we can do in a different way. We can create variable. Here also we can create variable using control K. Right? Type control K, and it will ask for the set variable. Set variable I can use one string variable which would type its value on this selector. So let's give the name of this variable as str last name. Hit enter. So we have created that a variable and click on OK. If I go to variable section, variable panel, we can see the string and the scope is example. And now here I can give one default value. The default value would be raw. So in every last name, on every last name field, it will type raw, because the str last name string variable value default value is raw. As it's a string variable, that's why I kept this value inside double quotation. Now let's try. Without we are not entering, we are not filling any other items. It is wait for ready. We can keep complete. That we can discuss in a different video where we will be showing you the typing activity or other activities you can use for entering any value on a page. Now let's just try. Suppose I am refreshing the web page and it is starting from the starting page, first page. Start. So now it is in a round one. Just let me run this and see where it's writing. It's typing that last name. So it wrote on a correct field. I see last year. So let me submit. And now you can see it's round two and the element also changed. Now last name here. Let me run the file again. So now it is typing last name here. So this way we can understood that using wildcard you can do the automation, and we can use a dynamic selector. If suppose for example we would not use the asterisk and we would not make with a dynamic selector, then what would happen? We need to use a lot of type interactivity, and we need to create a 10 rounds of type interactivity for each and every round, because the positions are static. In case of creating a lot of activities and make the code very much bigger, we are using a simple type into activity, or we can create a loop. Inside that loop, we can do this automation process using this dynamic selector. You can show you that process also. Like complete the process. I will show you how it is working with the dynamic selector and asterisk in a loop. So this is about a primary concept about wildcards. Now after wildcards, let me show you how we can use dynamic selector using a variable or argument in a selector. Same way, this is the this is the. Let me refresh again this page. Now I will show you in a first name field. Where is the first name field? This is the first name field. So every page has a first name field. Then we need to enter first name on every page. So we will type into first name but using dynamic vector and value would be that variable or argument value. So let me remove this selector using the open, and I will be removing this variable. Now we would use another selector for first name. Indicate on that first name field. So now we have a selector for first name field. So I would be using some more options. So let me check. This is the so let me take this one inner text. Here we will be using a variable also wildcard. So here is the title is RPA challenge from exe. Let me make it again asterisk. Inner text is first name. Web control ID is this one. Tag is input. Okay. This is the selector we are using. Let me highlight. If I go to next page, submit, and again if I validate and highlight, suppose see this is not working. Why it's not working? To tell you. Here we used web control ID. This web control ID also dynamic, not dynamic. It's just static one. So if I use this of control ID, this web control ID was for the first page, first page. So if I use asterisk here also, let us check how it is happening. If I highlight, it is highlighting on first page. Let's try on another page. These are the items which makes a selector static. So we need to identify those items from a selector and make it dynamic. In order to make it dynamic, we need to use different wildcards or variables which based on our requirements in the process. Let me highlight again. So it is highlighting on first name. So let me copy this selector and go to Uipath. In the selector field, I will I will paste this one and just I will check here also. So it is highlighting first name. So let me click on OK. Now I need to just change this variable name into a matching variable name, which always we need to create the variable with a meaningful name, which we can easily identify for which purpose this variable or argument we are making. So this str first name value we would change and we would make it as this. Suppose I am writing my name Saurav. So we would be providing the name, this variable here, str first name. So we will be writing str first name value is here. Now here we can do one thing. In inner text field, this first name instead of first name we can provide one variable. If I right click on this, you can see couple of items on this list. Choose variable, choose argument, create variable, create argument. So if I have already one variable, string variable, so we can click on choose variable. If I have already argument, already created argument, I can click on choose argument. So suppose I don't have any variable argument, I need to create a variable or argument here for this value. I can click on create variable or create argument. So for this video, I'm creating a variable here. If I click on click add variable, you can see in the down set name and set value. So I have selected already first name, so that's why the first value already default showing as first name. Let us keep as a first name only. Let me create the variable. So str name. The str first name already there, so I cannot keep the first name again. Let me just keep str name. So this is str name. So if I just hit enter, so it is changing that variable name into here instead of that hard-coded value. So instead of hard-coded value, we can just use str name variable. So let me validate. If I validate, see, we are using variable, but it is validating, so it is showing as a variable. So this variable supports here, and this variable making this selector as a dynamic selector. So if I click on OK, now if I go to variable panel, I can see these two variables now we have. Previously we are having one variable. Now we have two variables. One is first str first name, which is for the value of this text, which text we are typing, and another is str name, which we are using for that making the dynamic selector. So let's try with these two values how it is working. Let me click on start. We have a round one. We have first name here at the down. So let us check it is writing the first name on it. So now we can see it is writing the first name. Suppose click on submit and we can see the first name now we are in the different position. Let us again run the file and see it is writing the first name here or not. And we can see the first name is writing in the same and a different position. Let us try with the different page. Now I am not selecting anywhere. Let's see in the round three what will happen. The first name we can see the last one, first, second, last one. Yes. So it is writing first name on only first name field, but in a different position according to the round. So we are having 10 rounds on this page, and I will show you one process, one already built process, which uh, do that automation and enter the value on every field using dynamic selector and a real time. So this is the process which we are using. This is the process. First, we are opening the browser. Then, instead of Excel file, what we are doing, we are using user input. For user inputs like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 user inputs, 5, 6, 7. 7 user inputs for each and every field. We have 7 fields 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 fields we are having. So it will be first taking the user input from us for this 7 field. After taking the user input, what it do? It will check that start button is available on this start button. Before starting the process, we have a start button. It would check the start button. For the start button, what is there? Let us check the element. Check the selector. See, this is the selector. What we are using for IDX, we are using asterisk, and for the AA name, we are using start AA. So, what is the AA start AA value? This is start AA. The value is start. So that AA name is containing start. We can see this start is with caps, capital value, capital letters. But here, if we see variable, the AA text that is containing in this format. The first character is a capital and the other is small. So after checking that, it will click on the start button After clicking on start button, it will check that round one element exists or not. If round one element is existing, then it will start typing the value as per the user input. The user input values are all a variable, so it is typing the value. So if I see first name property, the first name property, how did we make it? This is the inner text first name and the selector, CSS selector, asterisk, the wildcard, and we are using web control tag is input. We are not using any type of static value which can make that selector only static. And now, if you see, this is the attach browser. Inside that, we are entering the values, and it is working in a way of loop. It will be entering the values, then it will come to the submit, and it will again come to the flowchart. In this flowchart, it is only checking the element round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. If it is existing, the rounds are existing, it will check here, it will pass on Boolean value with a true sign, and it will come to here. If it is true, again it is going to there, and it is entering the value. And when it will be ended, like it will be finished, 10 rounds will be finished, it will come to here, and it will get the text. What type of text? After finishing, you can see one text is coming that congratulations, we have completed, and it will check the element exists. That element exists that after finishing this all automation is here. After clicking automation, after start round one, round two, round three, round four, round five, round six, round seven, round eight, round nine, round 10. See this text, it was checking that you can see the reset button is there. So it will check the reset button is there or not. If it is the reset button is there, it will click on the reset. So if I click on the reset, it will start again from the start button. So here one input dialog box will appear, which will ask for that we want to continue this process or we want to stop. It will continue the process and it will again start from the start. Here, user inputs. It will take the user inputs again and it will enter on the value. Or if it is not, we don't want to continue the process, then the process will be ended. Let us try this process and see how it is working. So let me close this browser again because it will open the browser in the process. Let me close this. So let us start the process. Let's see how it is working. So first it will open the browser. So now it is opening the browser RPA challenge. From RPA challenge, it will check the start button. Now you can see it is asking for that value, user input value. It is asking for the first name first. So let me keep the first name, and then it will ask for the last name. Now it will ask for the contact details, email ID, email ID, phone number. Okay, so let me give us one email ID. Now the phone number. Now the address. Now the company name and the position in the company, role in the company. Now user inputs are finished. Now it will start providing those information, entering these user inputs on the page. So now it is checking every time it is checking this. Maybe first it click on the start button. Now check round one. Now it is entering the values on the particular field. So if you can see, first time we can understand this is a static, but if, from the second time onwards you can see also it will be doing the same work on a loop basis. See, same field it is entering the values, but on a dynamic position, not in a different position. And the rounds are also keep changing. You can see now it is round 2. It will now go to round 3. Now round 3 started, and it is entering the values on a different position. So this way dynamic selectors are behaving, and as per the dynamic selectors we made, based on those dynamic selectors, it is identifying those selectors position and it entering the user input value on those positions, those fields. Now it is going round 4. Now round 4 and 5 we can see also different position, but it is entering the correct value on a correct position. Now round 6. It is entering the company name, first name, last name, email address, phone number, role in the company, all entering on a correct position based on the dynamic selectors we have provided. And it is working in a loop. So it will go up to round 10. Now it is round 8. More 2 rounds it will continue. Then it will come to a button, reset button. It will first check for that reset button. If the reset button is available, then it will click on that. Let's see it will do or not. Round 8 is finished. Now it's working on round 9. Every time these positions are changing, but it is behaving very properly, very much properly. Now this is the final round, round 10. So this is last round's finished. Now you can see the wordings and the reset button. It will click on the reset button. First it will check the reset button and click on the reset button. Now it clicked on the reset button. Now you can see this user inputs. The repeat process. Do you want to repeat the process? Yes or no? This is a Boolean value. So based on this Boolean value, it will start the process or it will finish the process. So if I click on yes, it will finish the process. Or if I click on the no button, then it will, if we click on yes, then it will continue the process. Or if I click on no, then it will finish the process. So let me click on no and I will finish the process. Click on OK. So our process is finished. If I go to output panel, we can see that it logged also. That round 1 available, started round 2, started round 3, started round 4. It is recognizing the every round and it is logging those rounds. And after finishing the process, all rounds are finished. Congratulations, your success rate is 0%. And whatever the wordings were there, it just logged those wordings and it is showing here. The reset button is available, process finished. Yeah. So if I see that this last input box is showing like this, multiple choice, input type is multiple choice, and here I have given yes and no, 2 options in array, and values entered, that value I have entered, those values will be presented in this variable string repeat process. So if I see this string repeat process variable in the variable count panel, you can see this is string repeat process. This is string. So whatever the user input I will be giving, that will be recorded in that variable string repeat process, and it will come to here in this flow decision. And if the string repeat process is yes, then it will start again, and if it is no, then lock it will lock that process finished. So you can use an output panel, I can see process finished. So in this way, I I showed you how the dynamic selector and the wildcard works. Hope this video helped you to understand how the wildcard and dynamic selectors work. If you find this video helpful in order to learn wildcards and dynamic selectors, please like this video and share with your friends. Don't and again I'm requesting don't forget to subscribe the YouTube channel. And if you have any type of doubts or any confusion, please contact us on the rpa.developers1 at the rate of gmail.com. Or if you have anything, any suggestions or any comments, please ask those comments on the comment box on the video. Thank you for watching the video.